Hey, what's up everyone? Southside Braves here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today for you I have our Week 2 St. Louis Draft League recap. So, yeah, we're going to start with recapping the matches that happened for Week 1. So our first match here was between Steely Spirit and the Alolan Bobsled team. The way I'm going to do these is I'm just going to let kind of a highlight of the match play while I just tell you who won in that. The old bobsled team did pick up the 2-0 victory. Talonflame was in the running for support mon of the week. Typhlosion was in the running for MVP for plays like this. Big damage on the Mega Aggron would later get that knockout and picking up the Sinistra. So this duo kind of won the late game here for Lasso and the Alolan Bobsled team. So moving on. Sorry, there's probably a better way to do this, but I don't know it. So, our next match was between the Gateway Archaludons and Totally Toad School. This match was a 2-1 win in the favor of Totally Toad School. And there, we're going to see two of their best Pokemon on the field here in the highlight. The Hisuian Samurott was in their MVP, and the Mousehold was in the running for their support player of the week. Samurott picking up Okos on the Goldango. The Mousehold would follow me in Population Bomb in this matchup. They were able to pick up the 2-1 tight victory over the Gateway Archaludon. Next up, we had a match between the Frosted Flakes and Temporal Tower Joy Ribbons. And this ended up being a 2-0 in favor of Temporal Tower. And we will see this game too was a very close one. Came down to if this Hyper Beam would pick up Snorlax on this play, or if it would pick up and if it would hit. I'm pretty sure it was guaranteed to pick up, but it needed to land the Hyper Beam to win the game here. And Sylveon does that, just that, securing the 2-0 victory. And we will hear more about this match a little bit later. So moving on to match number 4 of the week. Here we had a match between the Hammerlock Hydro Cannons and Nimbasa Conductors. This match, as my cat is hitting my computer, give me 1 second. Didn't want to have the cat mess anything up. Hopefully everything still looks accurate. Yeah, so Hammerlock picks up the 2-1 victory here over Nimbasa Conductors. And we will see in this match.
We are going to see a fake out into the Pikachu. Probably calling a protect on the Blastoise, but unfortunately, he's just going to get another Water Spout off, and that is going to be a one-hit KO into the Kangaskhan, and finishing off that Jolteon. Andro down to his last Pokemon here, staring down a...
So, our next match of Week 1 was between the Prehistoric Paradoxes and the Victorious Bells. This one ended up being another tight game with the Victorious Bells picking up a 2-1 victory. And I know both competitors have talked about this specific play throughout the week since it happened, so I apologize to Coach Noodle and the Prehistoric Paradoxes, but I'm going to show it one more time. Game 3, this is what it came down to. Skarmory protects on this turn, fearing the 2 fire types on the other side. Charizard goes for the double protect, doesn't get it. It will get knocked out here by the Raichu. I think it's low enough. Yeah, it does get knocked out here by the Raichu, but the important thing that happens on the turn is Chandelure will get Trick Room up here, which secured the Game 3 victory for the Victorious Bells. So that is how that one went down. Next up, and while I get the next one pulled up, all these matches are on the St. Louis VGC YouTube channel, so if you want to watch any of them in their entirety, go over and do that. Next matchup here is my own between me, and Coach Mason of the Octillionaires. And this was, fortunately for me, a 2-0 victory in my favor. One of the few highlights that I'll actually show from the early set of the game. This was turn 1 of game 1, I believe. Primarina switches out. Simisage was going for the fake out into that position. But more importantly, the Aerodactyl will Mega and Protect here. So the fake out did its job in stopping one of the Pokemon from moving, even though that was through a switch out. And this allowed Azumarill to get the belly drum off, which I was able to position after that for the victory. Game plan went pretty smoothly for me, so pretty happy with that. So that is that match. Next up, we got 3 left, I believe, on the docket here. Next up was between the Amphitheater and the Meteor Mashers. In this one, we will see the namesake of the Meteor Mashers pick up a knockout here on this turn against what was a little scarier of a Beartic than I expected it to be. But importantly on this turn as well, the Scovillain is protecting that Metagross with the Rage Powder. It did it throughout the match, and Scovillain was a big part of this victory. So again, yep, that Flamethrower would have gone into the Metagross, and Metagross I believe is at like 11% here, maybe 14%. It was very low, and so that would have picked up. So Scovillain doing its job protecting the big hitter in Metagross. Oh, I didn't put it up there. That one was a 2-1 win, so it wasn't any other close one. Amphitheater did pick up a game there. It was a 2-1 victory in favor of the Meteor Mashers. Next up, we have Crove's team, or now named Currently Unnamed. This match here ended up being a 2-0 in the favor of the Lily Cove Land Sharks. And we will see. Mega Floette was doing very Mega Floette things in this match. This was a very unfortunate turn for Crove. We are going to see the special attack drop here on the Venusaur. Mega Dragalge could come back with a kill on the Floette on this turn. There is still a Mimikyu in the back, so it still would have been a tough road back for Crove, but a knockout here would have been nice. We will see Venusaur actually live the Dazzling Gleam, but because of an earlier Thunder Wave, Mega Dragalge does not get that knockout on the Floette, and that kind of seals the game 2 for Ben in the 2-0 win. So we have one final match here from Week 1, and that is a match between the Hypnotizers and the Windy City Whimsicots. That ended up being another good game. We had quite a few good games this week. Another 2-1 here in favor of the Hypnotizers. As we do see, this was a big turn. Baby Doll Eyes into the Mega Blaziken. Would it prevent the knockout on the Mega Pyroar with the close combat? It did not. I did not run the calcs if there is a world that maybe Baby Doll Eyes could have saved Pyroar, but I doubt it. But either way, Mega Blaziken does pick up that knockout, and Milotic picks up the knockout on Ninetales, and Milotic goes crazy in the rest of this game and picks up the 2-1 win for the Hypnotizers. So that was all of your Week 1 matches. So now, let's hop into the new top 10 teams of the week. So again, these are voted on by all the coaches that want to participate. I don't force people to do it, but we've had a large turnout of people filling them out. Both Week 1 and 2, it's been at least half the league. So I appreciate the people taking the time to do that. So this is what the people have voted on. So, first up, let me make sure I do this in the right order. At number 10, we have the Blackpool Weasels. Now, this one, they were at number 5 last week. They fall 5 spots. This is a little harsh in my opinion. They basically got a bye last week. We had, if you've been reading the bottom, we did have 2 coaches drop out of the league. They are being replaced by 2 new coaches for us. But those two coaches did not play their week 1, so their opponents got forfeit wins. So the Blackpool Weasels did win via forfeit, but yet they fall 5 spots. They are still in the top 10, but apparently people that did play and got their team seen were more impressive in the eyes of the voters. So the Blackpool Weasels are down at number 10. At number 9, we have the Victorious Bells, one of the teams that was not ranked last week that has found their way into the top 10. They are one of those teams that picked up a close 2-1 victory. That Trick Room play securing them a spot in the top 10 this week. So congrats on making it in. At number 8, we have the Gateway Archaludons. I'm going to be honest, this is the other one of the top 10 that confuses me personally a little bit, but I go with what the votes say. The Gateway Archaludons will be the only team in the top 10 this week that did lose in week 1. So a losing team that apparently impressed some people, and they found their way in the top 10 anyways, but they sit here at number 8. Number 7, we have the Hypnotizers. They find their way, again, 3 straight non-ranked teams from last week have found their way into the top 10. Hypnotizers get in there, another team that picked up a week 1 victory. Congrats on them at number 7. At number 6, we have, according to the votes, the most impressive of the non-ranked teams from last week, making it into the rankings this week. The Lily Cove Land Sharks find their way all the way up at number 6. Again, this is the last of the teams that were not ranked last week that have made it in this week. So congrats to them. At number 5, we have Totally Toad Schools. They were number 9 last week. They have raised 4 spots after their win in week 1. And so now they have made it all the way up into the top 5. At number 4, we have the Temporal Tower Joy Ribbons. They raised 3 spots going from number 7 to number 4 after they had one of the more impressive wins of the week, picking up a 2-0 victory. Next up at number 3, we have myself, the Nashville Nido Kings. Was number 6 last week, raised 3 spots into the top 3 this week after knocking off the former number 1 team in a 2-0 victory. At number 2, we have our biggest climber of the week. A Lowland bobsled team goes all the way from number 10 to number 2 this week, raising 8 spots. So again, biggest climber of the week. Congrats to them. That means our number 1 team for the week is Team Sentiments. Feel like I missed a letter in there when I spelled that. I think they're supposed to be this. And I'm going to try to correct it on the fly. And now I'm going to double check that that is right. I don't want to misspell the number 1 team in the league. Yes, okay. That is correct. Sentiments, they go from number 2 to number 1. They picked up an impressive win. I have thought their roster was one of the best in the league. I believe they were my number 1 vote before the week 1, after the draft. And so they do climb up to number 1 now after the week 1 victory. So these are your top 10 teams going into week 2. And yes. So now we will take a look at the actual standings of the league. These are not opinion-based. These are not votes by the coaches. This is just straight up your results. So in the red conference, we see 6 of the top 10 over there. Sentiments is the number 1 team over there. Top 4 in each conference will make playoffs. So as of right now in the red conference, that would be Sentiments, Totally Toad Schools, Lily Cove Land Sharks, and Temporal Tower Joy Ribbons. Over in the blue conference, the current top 4 are myself, the Alolan Bobsled team, Blackpool Weasels, and Meteor Mashers. Obviously, this is 1 week into the season. We have lots of games to go. This will change drastically throughout the season, but this is what it is after 1 week. Now, we will take a look at the awards for week 1. So the awards for week 1, we are going to start with Support of the Week. This goes to the best support Pokemon on one of the winning teams from week 1. We do this because they don't always get the love they deserve as compared to the Pokemon that picks up the most knockouts, the most offensive Pokemon. So, and these support Pokemon are just as important in picking up victories, maybe even more so in Draft League. So we do want to show them some love. So the support Pokemon of Week 1 belonged to Coach Ben, coach of the Lily Cove Land Sharks, and that was Klefki. Now, with these 3 awards every week, I'm going to reach out to the coach, ask if they want me to say anything in particular about the award or about their Pokemon and how it was able to accomplish it. So, I've done that. Coach Ben, regarding his Klefki, said that the screen support that Klefki provided was able to help particularly not great Pokemon do better in their role because of the screens, and the Dazzling Gleam got a nice damage buff from the Mega Floette ability. So that is kind of what the Klefki provided this week and why it was brought. So, moving on from the support Pokemon of the week, we will take a look at the MVP of the week. Lots of times these will go to the Pokemon that are picking up the most knockouts. The biggest offensive threat of your team a lot of times will be in this role. But that is why I do still show love to the sport, so we will have both. So, the MVP of the week belonged to Coach Kiora. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Of their team name is, I know it, Hypnotizers. And that was Milotic. Milotic, I believe, picked up 7 knockouts this week. Maybe 6. I think, no, it's 7. Yeah, it's definitely 7. Milotic picked up 7 knockouts this week. A Mon that is sometimes in that support role a lot of times just became a huge offensive threat once getting that competitive boost. And it was very fun to see. Both these Pokemon, actually all 3 awards were the ones I voted for as well. So, Klefki was awesome. Milotic was really, really awesome. And the coach said in regards to Milotic, it's a Pokemon that they've ran a lot on ladder. They wanted to make it the backbone of their draft team. So they are going, you'll probably see it a lot of weeks. They expect to have a lot of varied sets on it, so hopefully this won't be the last time we see it in this MVP category. So, expect a lot of big things coming out of Milotic. Yes. So, that leaves just the Coach of the Week. And that honor goes to Jeb of the Temporal Tower Joy Ribbons. Congrats. They picked up a 2-0 win in Week 1. And what did Jeremy have to say? He wanted to thank his prep team, GG's to his opponent Cthulhu, and shout out to Sylveon for picking up all the knockouts in Game 2. He also wanted to thank the commentary and recording that everyone does. He knows that's a lot of work, so he wanted to shout out those people. And being able to go back and look at his matches for review helps with play improvement. So he expects to get even stronger with all the resources that this draft league is providing. So, thank you to him. Thank you for everyone he shouted out there. And these are your Week 1 awards. Alright, next up we have our league leaders. These are the top 5 knockout leaders of all the Pokemon. In number 1 is Milotic with those 7 for the Hypnotizers. In second is Mega Blastoise with that Shell Smash team that went crazy with the Hammerlock Hydro Cannon. Next up, we have the Sylveon from our Coach of the Week in the Temporal Tower Joy Ribbons with 5. Mega Floette, the monster it is, comes in at number 4 with 5 as well for the Lily Cove Land Sharks. And lastly, with 4 at number 5 is the Hisuian Gudra that was able to clutch up in that Trick Room for the Victorious Bells. So those are your top 5 league leaders in kills after Week 1. So, last thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the matches for Week 2. So, bear with me real quick. Alright, so our first match that we're going to look at is between currently unnamed and the Gateway Archaludons. So, looking at this matchup, we do have a matchup here between 2 teams that were unable to pick up wins in Week 1. And just going to mark that real quick. Yeah, so 2 teams that are unable to pick up wins in Week 1 will be head-to-head here in Week 2. And the Pokemon I highlighted is just the Pokemon I thought was the most impressive for them the week previously. So for currently unnamed, we have the Mega Dragalge, and Gateway Archaludons, we have that Liepard. So this should be a good one. 2 teams looking to get on the board with their first win. I'm interested to see the Gateway Archaludons a little bit more. Again, people highly ranked them even after losing. So I'm curious what they have here in Week 2. So next up, we have a matchup between Totally Toad School and Lily Cove Land Sharks. Both of these teams 1-0. The number 5 ranked team versus the number 6 ranked team, so this should be a good one. And that is why this one is getting quickly the match of the week. So knocking this out of the way early on here, this will be our match of the week. We saw Klefki win the support Pokemon of the week for week 1 for the Lily Cove Land Sharks. The Hisuian Samurott had a very good week for the Totally Toad Schools. So this should be a very, very fun one. If I could only watch one match this week, it would be this one. So very interested to see how this one goes. Good luck to both the coaches. Next up, we have a match between the Windy City Whimsicott and Temporal Tower Joy Ribbons. So Windy City Whimsicott was not able to pick up a win in week 1 versus our coach of the week for week 1 in the Temporal Tower Joy Ribbons. The Mega Pyroar Sun team was fun. It came up a little bit short in that matchup versus Sylveon that went crazy in week 1. So this should be another good one. We'll see if the Sun team can bounce back and take down one of our top teams in the league right now. Next matchup we have is a matchup between the Hypnotizers and the Hydropendages. I still feel like I butcher that name. We will see. We know the Hypnotizers picked up a win there in week 1. The Hydropendages unfortunately did not. They do have my favorite Mega on their team still, that Mega Gengar, versus the MVP of week 1, that Milotic. So we'll see if Milotic can keep it up, if the Hypnotizers can keep it up, or if the Hydropendages are able to bounce back and pick up a win here in week 2. Our next match is between the Hammerlock Hydro Cannon and the Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes unfortunately did not pick up a win in week 1. The Hammerlock Hydro Cannon did, thanks to that Mega Blastoise. So we'll see if the Frosted Flakes can slow that Pokemon down, if I can speak, or if it's going to continue to run away with it and pick up another win for the Hydro Cannon. Our next match is between the Sentiments and Nimbasa Conductors. So we do know Sentiments is our number 1 team in the league right now. They are sitting at 1-0. The Conductors are currently at 0-1. If you just look at the Pokemon I've highlighted for their teams going into week 2, obviously Mega Staraptor loves that matchup, so we'll see if that is tilts this matchup in the favor of the Conductors, or if Sentiments will remain at number 1 and pick up another win here in week 2. Our next match, we'll see if the former number 1 can bounce back in the Octillionaires as they take on the Alolan Bobsled team, the current number 2. So Octillery was number 1. The Octillionaires, were number 1 last week, and now they get to play the new number 2. So this should be a fun one. Primarina was the Pokemon I was most impressed with by the Octillionaires in week 1, and that Typhlosion again cleaned up games for the Alolan Bobsled team. But yeah, we'll see. I believe at the time of recording this game has already been played. They did play early in the week, so I do know the result of this one. But if you want to know it, go watch the match. And yeah, this was match number 7. So we have 5 more for the week. Our next one is between the Meteor Mashers and one of our new coaches here. We have, I'm so sorry if I butcher this, Konichi Warner. Their team, they have a Mega Sceptile. We haven't got to see anything from this roster yet. Meteor Mashers we did get to see in week 1. The old Ninetales helped in the weather department for them. Oh, and I guess I should show you what their records are. Whoops. Meteor Mashers. Yeah, that's right. They did pick up a win. Thought so. So yeah, Meteor Mashers 1-0. Konichi Wanner's team will be playing their first match of the season, but unfortunately are still sitting at 0-1. Our next match here will be between the other new team. We have 2 new coaches, and Snubble VGC's team, featuring that Mega Mawile, will be taking on the Prehistoric Paradoxes and that Dragonite that picked up so many 5-hit scale shots in week 1, but was not enough to pick up the win. And again, much like the other new coach, they are coming in at 0-1 because the team did pick up a forfeit loss in week 1. So another roster we don't know what to expect from yet, but should be a fun match either way. Next up, we have 3 left here, and our next one is between the Blackpool Buizels and the Victorious Bells. So much like some of the new coaches, the Blackpool Buizels are sitting at 1-0 because they were on the other side of that forfeit win in week 1. So we haven't got to see this team play yet. They do feature a Mega Scizor. And on the other side, the Victorious Bells, they do have that Hisuian Goodra that had a great week 1. This is, if I did 2 matches of the week this week, this would be the other one. This is 9 versus 10 in our power rankings. So it should be another fun one. 2 ranked teams head-to-head. This will be a good one to watch. Our penultimate match of the week will be between the Amphitheater and the Steely Spirit. So the Amphitheater with that Mega Swampert were not able to pick up a win in week 1. Steely Spirit also fell short. So we will see one of these coaches get their first win of the season, which is always a good feeling. So we will see if it's the Wall or if it's the Rain team. And one final match of the week is between the Missouri Misdirectors and myself, the Nashville Nido Kings. Whoops. We are not match of the week. That was an accident. I've already told you who match of the week was. So Missouri Misdirectors are sitting at 1-0, and I am also sitting at 1-0. They are the other team that got a forfeit win in week 1, so we haven't seen the team play, but they are sitting at 1-0 due to one of those 2 coaches dropping. And then myself picking up the 1-0 win against the Octillionaires last week with that Simisage. So I do have to prepare for that Mega Gardevoir. It is a very strong Pokemon. And yeah, that is all 12-year matches going into week 2. So we did the recaps last week. We did the top 10 teams, standings, awards, league leaders, and matches for next week. So these videos are a lot of work. If you do enjoy them, please do like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what else you want to see included in these videos, how I can make them better. I know I had some cuts in this one. This is a lot of talking with nonstop, so I did misspeak a few times and actually recorrect it. So if you see like the ticker on the bottom mess up at times, that's probably why. But much like everything else I do this season, my play, my commentating, my videos, they will get better as the season goes on. So yeah, but let me know what you'd want to see in these, and yeah, that's all I got. So thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a good day and a good night, and I'll catch you in a future video. Bye guys.